Good morning, everybody. Lawrence Fleming here. I'm going to take another hike in the other direction today. And I kind of want to do a recap of where we're at. I'm still getting trolls that call me a heretic and all kinds of stuff for teaching what I teach. You know, the way I look at it, the more attacks I get, the more I must be doing something right. I will never give you a date for the rapture, but I will tell you what would be a high watch time, and that's this month, maybe in the next month. High watch times, but it doesn't mean I have an inside track that knows exactly what day it is. I don't. Nobody does. Anybody who claims to is fooling themselves. But I can tell when the troll comes by. I talk about something in my video, and maybe the title leads into it, maybe it doesn't. They read the title and then they attack me. They don't watch the video. If they did, they would have seen what my answers were. All right. I follow probably a half a dozen preppers, half of which actually live on farms where they can do all their own killing, cooking, canning, all the stuff that you're supposed to do. They have their storage areas, they have root cellars where they can put stuff up. Farming is a easy life, but it is hard. Once you know what you need to know, you just cookie cutter, you repeat it every year. You plant at a certain time, you harvest at a certain time. That's why most of the Jewish feasts wrap around that kind of stuff. It's written in a book of when to do all this stuff. There's one thing I did want to bring up today, and I think one of the reasons that maybe I'm not traveling as much as I'd like to. The government is beginning to crack down on doing what I do and what other people do. They're cracking down in bits and pieces here and there. As soon as they get organized, they're going to try to shut everything down. Right now, there is a challenge made to a law that says that you cannot film in a national park without paying permits and having all this stuff approved ahead of time. You just can't pull out your camera and shoot the Grand Canyon on a video. Well, it was shot down saying that's freedom of speech, you can't restrict it. Well, they found an appeals court that overturned that. We're looking at a government dictatorship, full takeover, telling you what you can and cannot do, and if you don't comply, they will be after you. You see these leaves coming down? If this isn't a sign of the times, I don't know what is. All right. Oh, I'm on a bridge. There's a little bit of a creek that goes in there. It's not flowing very good. We've seen where they don't want people selling outside of their jurisdiction. They've shut down farms, Amish mainly right now, but they're doing that as a test case. They're going to go around and do that every place. If you're selling your goods or trading your goods even, they're going to shut down bartering. Don't look at anything that says, well, this is what the law is. Look at what a dictator would do who wants complete control. They're not going to follow the law as we have it now. They're going to change it. They're going to get judges in place that will change it. So if you're planning, I'd mentioned in one of my videos that we could do some bartering. Well, it's going to be a tricky thing to do. You don't want to be broadcasting that. And it's going to be just like anything. It's going to be like the bad guys, you know, the drug dealers who have to do stuff hidden so that the government doesn't find out. Well, we're going to have to do honest things the same way soon. You're going to have close friends that you can trade services, maybe even trade goods. But they're going to investigate. They're going to find ways that they can trap you. And when they do trap you, they're going to make examples. You know, we're told that the harlot's going to have blood of Christians on her. You don't get blood of Christians unless you're killing Christians. She's going to make examples of Christians doing things. And if you've seen some of the things that have come out on what they're looking for, you know, flags and different symbols and different types of things, it's not just Christians, it's anybody that's right thinking, frankly. If you believe in the truth, you're an enemy of the state. If you believe in the rule of law, you're an enemy of the state. We're going to be there soon. Now, I've been saying something big is going to happen this month, and obviously the Queen dying is big. Not so much that her death is a big thing. She was old, and that's what happens when you get old. But it's more that her son now is going to be king, and he's already part of the new big round blue thing order. Because he's talked about it. So that means that Britain is now ready to go full reset. And the rest of the country, the rest of the UK, I should say, it won't take much to push them in that direction. Because they're going to have an economic collapse. Businesses are already shutting down. I can see why everybody's got their campsite stuff here. There's fire ring and a bunch of stuff here. This looks like a good spot for fishing. You got a big river out there, but when you get these little eddies that come off the side where it's not flowing so hard, the fish can kind of hang out in those, and that's a good place to go looking for them. I've already seen our morning crew out in their little mini four-wheel drive thing out here driving around, checking on the park. They did it last night about 8 o'clock. Even though this is a county park, they still got people here working and doing their various jobs. But I think eventually they're going to shut these down too. I know that California, the granola state, land of fruits and nuts and flakes, has got some new regulations on RVs. So it will be interesting to see just how much they crack down on all of those that are free-spirited, want to get out and do things. aren't tied to the government, there's not going to be a whole lot of time left to do anything. Okay, my preppers that I wanted to talk about, they are beginning to sound very, very serious. They're saying you need to get busy now. And I'm not just talking about stores. One guy was talking about the questions that he gets. He's going, I'll paraphrase, but basically these city folk are going to die because they don't know how to do anything. You told me to buy all this rice and beans. How do you cook them? What do you mean, how do you cook rice and beans? You shouldn't be buying stuff if it's not part of your normal eating habits. And don't just buy 200 tons of rice and put it away and not buy anything else. If you didn't learn anything from history, at least learn that the Israelites, when they wandered the wilderness and God was feeding them, He gave them manna. And after a while, they began to get tired of it. They started complaining, we want meat. So He gave them quail. So they had 2 things they could eat. That's still not enough. I mean, we have restaurants all over the country that have basically every flavor of food you can think of. We have that because we like variety. Some areas have types of food, like I'm in the south, so we're going to have a lot of pork. You know, if it's not any good the way it is, wrap bacon around it, it'll be perfect. But things like bacon are going to be hard to come by if you don't have refrigeration. How are you going to be able to keep your food cold? Me, what I do is I go out and I buy a bag or 2 of ice every other day and put it in my cooler. What's going to happen when they're no longer providing ice? I have my electric cooler, which is absolutely useless on this campsite because I have no electricity. It's only for 5 days and then I'll be back on my state park. But what if the grid goes down? The grid doesn't just go down in the city, it goes down in the country as well. I'm breathing hard because I just climbed a hill. There's a viewpoint up here. Let's see. Here's a big viewing area. Oh, and that's another thing. 2 of my prepper guys that I watch are talking about you better be getting yourself in shape. If you're out of shape, do something about it. It doesn't matter how much time you've got. Our bodies are the temple of God, and we should respect God by keeping our bodies in relative good shape. Okay. There's a rope on that tree going down to the river down below. So I guess that you can go down there and sit on the bank and fish. Well, he was telling stories. This one guy lives in Florida, and you know that they get hurricanes there. I'm going to put this down for a bit. And he said on one of their storms, a number of people died from heart attack and stroke. The grid went down. They had no water. They were hiking, for them apparently, too far and carrying back buckets of water. And they died from it. They weren't killed by the hurricane. They were killed by their inability to survive. I go for at least a hike a day, minimum. It depends on, how much time I got and what I'm doing, whether I want it to be a long hike or a short hike. I even climb hills if I need to. We've also got to eat well. So take care of your body. It's the temple of God. There were priests that was their job, is to make sure the temple was pristine and ready to worship God in. In the original temples, Solomon's and David's and even Herod's, although they didn't have the ark, God was supposed to be able to come into the temple, especially when the ark was there. Would you invite God into your house and into your bedroom perhaps and see clothes all over the floor? Now you'd be frantically running around cleaning up if you knew he was coming. Well, he is coming because he's inside of us. So everywhere you go, you need to be doing what you need to be doing. Keep things clean, in order, and well maintained. And that includes you. If you're overweight and you know it, you don't need me to tell you. And I've had weight issues, so I understand. I know all about it. It's a combination of food and exercise. You're not doing enough of exercise, or you're doing too much of food. You got to kind of bring them into balance. And if you're exercising a lot, you can increase your food a little bit, but not a lot. It's a balancing act. It means you have to be consciously involved. Look at what you're eating in the morning. Are you eating biscuits and gravy every morning? Well, you're putting cement in your body, so no wonder you can't get up and move. Biscuits and gravy are good, but you got to be everything in moderation, not 4 helpings. I've seen pictures of the perfect sandwich. You got bread here, and you got bread here, and multiple layers of bacon in between. Now, nobody's going to eat that. It's a meme, it's a joke. But cut that down a little bit and do 4 layers of bacon, and somebody would eat that. As a general rule, that would not be a good thing to do. Occasionally, even when you're on a diet, you can have a cheat meal. So you can have pretty much anything you want as a cheat meal. I have to watch what I eat because of my age. I've had my gallbladder out, so I can't eat greasy foods a lot, or I'll pay the price. I have a little bit of an allergy to wheat, so I can't eat a lot of bread. So I tell people I'm forced to eat healthy. Don't have God force you to do right. Do it on your own. Eat everything you want to eat. Just don't go back for seconds and thirds and fourths, and finish what's on your plate. Don't heap it up so high that it's, 4 meals in one. A little common sense. And losing weight's going to take longer than gaining weight, believe me. So start now. Start today. You don't have to fast every day. You do have to fast occasionally. It's good to cleanse the body, to cleanse the system. Everything I'm telling you, you already know. You have to take responsibility for yourself. If you're not happy and you're saying, well, this is my comfort food and I want to be comforted, you're going about it the wrong way. If you want to be happy, that's the Spirit of God. That's one of the fruits of the Spirit is joy. You need to be tapping into that resource, not taking it on your own. So if you're not happy, then you're not happy with God. You need to work on that. Now maybe you don't like the way your life's going. You don't like the direction. Talk to God about it. Don't expect him to just wave his magic wand and change things. He'll put you on the right path to get where you need to be. But if you're not where you need to be, you went there on your own. Again, take responsibility for yourself. Where most of us, adults, we may act younger or want to be younger, but as adults, that's one of the things that you have to take in. You are responsible for you. And God cares about you, so he wants you to have a good life. He's given you every tool that you need to have a good life. And if you're not happy with it, it's because you're not using the tools. Spend time with God. If you're not spending enough time with him, the world will overwhelm you. If Satan will try to tempt Jesus, don't you think he's going to do the same for you? He's going to put you in a situation where you're going to go, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this job. It pays a lot of money. I maybe don't like what I'm doing, but I'm getting paid a lot of money. No. Don't fall for that trap. You can't make enough money to be happy. Ask a billionaire. If you don't know anyone, ask a millionaire. And if you don't know anyone, ask someone who's got 100,000 in the bank or even 20,000. Whatever it is, you can't come up with a number that will satisfy your needs. There are times I go from paycheck to paycheck if things are coming up. I'm not worried about it. If I were to owe $500 next week and I'm zero in the bank, I'm not worried about it. That's God's realm. I'm not a high enough pay grade for that. He always comes out with the money just in time. Now maybe just in time is the day after, just to test me. And I got to go up and beg for an extra day to make the payment. He wants to stay in control, because when he's in control, we're in the right spot. We can't go out and figure out a way to make it happen. All right. Spend time, I've mentioned this before, I haven't changed my ways on this. Spend quiet time in the morning with God. Start your daily routine with a prayer to God. Make sure that you ask for forgiveness and pray that he helps you out. The Lord's Prayer is a guideline, but you don't have to follow that exactly. Recognize God, ask for your needs and protection, which is really a need. Every day. Start your morning that way. If you're lying there in bed, before you even get up, you could start that. You don't even have to get out of bed. Spend a little bit of time during the day in prayer. Everybody gets a lunch break. And look at the practicality of it. If you're sitting at your desk and your head's down, you may be sleeping. But if I can't see what that is. By the time I get my glasses out, it'll be gone. There's a phone call coming in, but I don't know. Looks like it says, scam likely. Yes. I get a lot of those. I don't know who Scam Likely is, but I get a lot of those. All right, I was distracted, wasn't I? If you're distracted, go right back to what you were doing. And if you can't remember what you were doing, pick something good to do. Throughout the day, every time you got a chance. Oh, that's what I was doing. My head was down and I was maybe sleeping at my desk. And if you all of a sudden get that feeling that there's somebody behind you, just say amen and bring your head up and you'll be okay. But you really should be praying at work too. You don't have to make it obvious if you don't want to bow your head and get on your knees and do all that other stuff. You just simply have to be walking about doing this and, oh God, would you help so-and-so out today because they said they were going in for surgery today. Be with them and protect them. You don't have to even say it out loud. I said it out loud so you would hear me. Jesus said many times, you know, Father, I talk to you all the time, but I'm praying out loud so the people here will hear it. Talk to them all the time. You're having trouble you're putting something together and you're having some trouble. Just stop for a second. God, calm yourself down. Help me. He knows what your problem is. You don't have to go into a long 30-minute dissertation of why he needs to help you. Just ask for help. And he may say, put it down and come back later. And that a lot of times works. If you lose something, if you can't find where you put something, and you're racking your brain trying to figure it out, just drop it. Unless it's critical. I mean, if it's something you got to critically have, you keep searching for it. But if it's something you just, where did I put that extra shoe or whatever I knew I had with me, whatever, you can't find it. Can't find your glasses. How many of you have looked around for your glasses for an hour and can't find them? Just forget about it, relax, and let your brain with God work on the solution in the background. Go about your business, do something else. It will come to you. If I can't remember somebody's name and it's important and it's somebody I should know, I even forget people's names that I know. Just relax and it will come to you. Spirit's inside of you working too. He's not sleeping. So all this stuff is just common sense. But you have to take responsibility for yourself. If you don't like the situation you're in, get with God and He'll tell you what you can do to fix it. Now, if you've dug yourself a hole, you may have to find a way to climb out. You may have to fill the hole back up. But it will get you out of the hole. There's the old story about the guy at the bottom of the well, and he's asking for help to get him out. And they're saying, well, we don't have any rope, but hang on, I got an idea. Next thing you know, you've got dirt coming in on top of him. So he stands over to the side, and they keep shoveling dirt in. Next thing you know, the dirt's up to the top of the hole, and he can climb right out. Sometimes the solutions are not what you would expect. Trust God, and He will take you to the right solution. And if you're not smiling throughout your day all the time, then you're losing connection with the Spirit, and that can have its consequences. Find work that you enjoy, or at least enjoy the work that you've been given. Be grateful that you have a job, because that's going to be a odd commodity here soon. Be grateful that you have enough food for your family right now. But you should be prepping so you have enough for the future when things hit the fan. I still think we got something major coming this month, bigger than the Queen. Maybe a war, maybe a bomb, something going off. We're coming up on 9/11. That was a unique event in its time. and we were attacked on our own shores. Now, we responded, but did we get away with it? Did we do away with the threat? No. They just went underground and will pop their heads up somewhere else. Snakes are clever like that. You know what? I don't know if I posted this, but why we have snakes crawling on the ground. Well, one, they've been disarmed. I forget the other half of that. But in any case, the point of the matter is that Satan is still here. He's clever. He lives in heaven, not hell. Hell's empty right now. There's nobody in it. The first inhabitant will be the false prophet. But it will be there. God didn't make bad places for good people. He made bad places for the bad people. And they will get filled up. All right. Again, I've talked through this whole message instead of doing my Bible reading, but it's important that you know you are important to God. Your well-being is important to God. And if you're not happy with your situation, that's important to God. You need to try to stay connected with Him and find out what you can do to improve your situation. You may say, God, help me. You may go in and get fired after saying that prayer. But that maybe is what you need to get out of that job and go find one that you like. Maybe your job is unpleasant because you don't like your boss. Start loving on your boss, praying for him every day. It may change your perspective. Don't carry the burden of the world. That is not your job. All right. I still say something big is happening this month. I did not say the rapture. I never say the rapture. I say we have a likelihood of a rapture this month. And if it's not this month, next month. And if we're wrong on that, then maybe next year, but it could be any time. It's always been any time. I could say we could have a rapture today, and I'd be 100% correct. We could have a rapture today. But I didn't say we are. And the world just does not understand how we can be so confident on this. Of course, they don't read the Bible. There are incorrect teachings on Revelation out there. They teach a linear revelation after the letters to the churches. And it's not linear. Keep telling everybody they're little vignettes, and they are self-contained. The seals is a vignette, and it's self-contained. All you need to know about the seals are in that. All you need to know about the trumpets is over here in it. But if they're overlaid, there's nothing wrong with that. It works. And they are overlaid. They're not do this, then do this, then do this. That's normal literature. That's not prophetic. If they don't have the book of Revelation right, it's okay. We can agree to disagree. They're going to be pleasantly surprised, all those post-trib rapture people. They're going to be pleasantly surprised when they get raptured early on. Let them be surprised. Let them have their wrong belief. If they've got the gospel right, if we're saved, we believe in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior, and we've given our life to Him, and we are truly Christians, that's the only part that matters. There's a lot of words between Genesis and Revelation, and if we don't have it right all the way, get the gospel right. That's why we have 3 different views of Jesus' early time and his ministry. Looking at it from 3 different points of view. John, of course, is a little bit different. He's looking at everything from God's point of view. we have it repeated so we get it right. Revelation is hard to understand. Genesis and the early parts of it are hard to understand. How can it happen that way? Anything that's important, really, truly important to us, it's explained. That's like in Revelation when he's talking about the candlesticks. They're explained to us who they are and what's going on. We get the parable, and then we get the explanation to show that there is a use of terminology. All right. Do something to improve your life today. Whatever it is, whatever will be in God's approval range of things that He wants for you, do something to improve your life today. If you've been putting off something that you know you have to do, get it started. You don't have to finish it. At least get it started. If you know you're dealing with an out-of-condition body, start working on it. Do it practically, and if need be, with medical help. Get out of the chair. That's why I'm saying, we just can't sit around waiting for the rapture, because we don't know when it's going to happen and what we're going to have to get through to get to it. God's going to get us wherever we are, but we don't know the state of the world. And we know that the timing on a lot of this stuff has got to be a war. For those that are in the war, it's going to be a little bit more harrowing than those that are on the other side of the world watching. But we could have a war here. We've had a war here, 9/11. What do we have coming? We don't know. Do something for yourself today. And do something for someone else while you're at it. All right, till we meet in the clouds. God bless. Here we have a fisherman going up the river. Big bend in the river here, and it's calm. You've seen what it's like down where I'm camping.